All right. I just realized that you guys are probably hearing the echo sound. Sorry about that. Uh, anyways, we're here. I forgot to. I forgot to switch the audio. The audio. People that say audio and guitar, guitar, played guitar. What did I hear? Somebody pronounced Swede yesterday. I was like, you never heard the word Swede before? Huh? I don't know. What's up, people? How you doing? That's okay though. I have been the victim of that myself. I I've had a few words that are just stuck in my head being pronounced a certain way. That was wrong. And so I am not perfect. What is this? What is this? Oh, feedback. Somebody wants my feedback. Well, I'll give you some feedback. I'll switch my mic up on you. All right. People rolling in. We're live on YouTube, Rockfin, Colin, and on Twitter. Calling people whenever you feel free. The lines are open for a couple of minutes. We'll say until 9:20. But there's nobody on Colin right now to hear me say that, so how would they know? But I'm just saying that for anybody who wants to jump into Colin. Let's see, we got some folks. Oh shoot, I forgot to press the. God, I'm having a hard time this morning. I'm having a hard time pressing buttons this morning. I didn't press the live button on Rockfin. I just did. So now we're on Rockfin. I think we had some more folks on Rockfin, and they're probably wondering what was up. But anyways, we got some people watching on Rockfin. How you doing? Yeah, some mornings I just really have a hard time remembering to press. There's like, a series of like 20 buttons I got to push in order to get this show going. And sometimes I just don't press them all. For crying out loud. It's hard to remember some days. All the buttons. Anyways, we got lots of people in the YouTube chats. Extra Bulla. What's up, Tim Bob? Going south. Todd Fine. Darlene. All right. Double Trouble. Foreigner. That's a great song. People are talking about I'm Hearing Double. Y'all know that song? That's a great album, by the way. That Foreigner, was it Foreigner 4? Phew. Love that record. That was like peak 70s rock. All right. Let's do it. Lance, how you doing? What you got to say, Lance?
Oh, good, Black. It's funny when I listen to it. I've on right now in the background all day, pretty much the oldies channel. And while they do repeat a lot of the same songs over and over, they dig deep. They occasionally, a geezer like me, you don't hear too many oldies I haven't heard the song before. They'll play some really obscure stuff. So they let the local DJs play music. I know that they're told what to play in a lot of cases, but they would play the same songs anyway. They're DJ. So they get a little bit of freedom. It isn't like all automated, even though it's corporate owned like every place else. New, one of these big Clear Channel or something. Anyway, it's interesting because I'll hear a song that I know I'm not a musician, but I know a mediocre song from a really great song.
Yeah.
Usually, not always. And all right, so and it's interesting to hear like musicians when they do these things from New Musical Express right from the '60s. So the Hollies will come out of an album and then they'll have George Harrison critique it. They can dig in deep and suggest that a song has something more interesting going on that I can notice. I don't know chords or any of that. Anyway, the point though is you're talking about Foreigner. Let me do a mea culpa, right? Let me do a my bad in a way, because here it is. I hear a lot of mediocre songs that weren't very good songs, but they became a hit. Okay, so they get
Yeah.
on the airplane. Very mediocre song, but I'm like, oh yeah, that song. Oh yeah, that song.
I was
It
gonna
has a
say,
place.
that was like peak. I don't know what you want to call it, like late '70s, maybe
Yeah, but
corporate rock, but like really good, like
yeah,
pretty solid, like
no,
poppy
the
pop
thing.
rock too. You know.
Yeah. Somebody like it was maybe it was George Harrison. I don't remember who. It doesn't matter. But it was a Uber A-lister talking
Mhm.
about how much they really liked Foreigner. It might have been somebody like Sting. I don't remember. It was an A-lister though, talking about how Urgent, the song Urgent, and some other
That's
song
yeah.
were really
Osama's
like
talking about
really well
urgent
crafted. Yeah, they were talking
emergency,
about how great.
urgent,
And
urgent.
these are
Yeah.
yeah, and these are musicians that are professionals that know what good is. That I can't tell. I could kind of have some taste. Yeah. Anyway, so I listen to a lot of mediocre crap, but it has a place in my heart. So just because I was too cool for school, I had too many bands. The Who, I had the Beatles, I had the King. So Foreigner and Journey and that whole era came along,
Well,
and
yeah.
I listened to something like I want to be home in my city
Right.
by the
Right.
bay.
Right.
That's a
Yeah.
beautiful song.
It's a great song, and like
It really is. And there's
I
usually
actually wasn't a fan of Journey back in the day, but like they grew on
no, but
me
they're lumped
as
in with
time went
Foreigner as
on.
they should be. Yeah,
And we get
But it's so funny.
there's a like late '70s, early '80s like kind of rock thing that was just like kind of a pantheon of like when rock was about to I don't know, turn into something else, right? Punk
I
was
hear you.
coming
Yeah.
up, new wave was coming up, and everything, and there was like this Foreigner and Journey and like Van Halen and like all these bands that were like
You can put Sticks in there a little bit. They were
Sticks,
decent
yes.
though.
What was the
And
band?
I like them. A lot of these bands, right, that I thought sucked, and I hear them now, and I'm like, who the hell was I to think they sucked? I was too cool for school. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
fun.
Oh, I can't think of the band I'm thinking of right now that was like kind of a
Bad
early
Company,
Bad Company. Yeah, that's a good. That's yeah, yep.
but
They're in
they
there.
stood out. They rocked a little
Boston,
harder than the other
Boston. Yeah,
songs.
Osama's talking about Boston. Yep. I actually did. Okay, here's a memory. In sixth grade, they had a talent show, and me and my friends lip synced to a Boston song. Lip synced to Boston song. We just went up on stage with like fake drums and fake guitars, and did a Boston song, and it was like that was what everybody was into at the
Awesome. I'd
time,
love
right?
to see the tape of that, boy. I would love
I mean,
oh,
I would love to see the tape of that too. All right, man. Hey, man, I'm gonna let you go because I'm gonna get into some news. But thanks,
yeah,
Lance.
go ahead.
Thanks
So
for
I'm gonna let you. I know you like to do longer spans. You take a quick call. That's how you format your show. I can't sweat you on that.
yeah.
But I'm just gonna make one more quick point. Who was it that I was gonna mention? Some band. Not Badco. Um, oh, it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's just funny how these things. Like disco. I was ready to wear a disco sucks T-shirt. Now every time I hear a disco song and that danceable beat, I'm like, yeah, man, it's a shit. So anyway, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
for
fun.
sure.
Thanks for going down memory lane with me.
For sure. Thanks, man. Peace. All right. Let's see. 38 special. Yeah, there's Blondie. Wow, what is the band that I'm thinking of that's on the tip of my tongue and I can't remember the name of that? Cheap Trick. Cheap Trick. They had like two songs, maybe three that were on the charts, but Cheap Trick was pretty cool for a time. All right. Anyways, we're gonna our little music discussion there. And it's mostly a lot of this is nostalgia. We could debate on whether which bands were actually good or not. But I mean, they made some records. You saw Cheap Trick in Coney Island for free. Yeah. Oh, and then anyways, I could talk all day about this. All right. So let's get into some things. And it's a Friday. So we're doing some things. The Police, for sure. Yeah, man. All right. Did you all see this video? Oh my God. This is a crazy video. A Ukraine deputy detonates a grenade at a council meeting in the Zakarpattia region. Zakarpattia. One person is dead, 26 are injured. Only one person died from a grenade being thrown in the middle of this meeting. Look at this. God dang it. Oh man, that's horrific. Extra Bola, heck yeah, man. I'd love to come on your show and we'll talk about music. Sure. But this is wild. I'm amazed that only one person died. I'm absolutely dumbfounded because I would think a grenade going off in this room would take out pretty much everybody. All right, we got a couple of things lined up here. Just trying to get them to open up. Hello. Chris Martinson. Repost this. It's more about his comment that I appreciate. I appreciate Chris Martinson being the fine scientist that he is, being the fine recognizer of data and reality that he is. Is he perfect? No, of course not. Is anybody perfect? No, of course not. I don't like Chris Martinson because he got this one thing wrong. I haven't really seen much that he's gotten wrong. I did see somebody go after Chris Martinson because he agreed with some financial guru somewhere, and they were like, "You're stupid." Anyways, I think Chris Martinson's takes are probably some of the best out there. And from a scientific mind and eye, I appreciate what he has to, he has takes on all kinds of things. But anyways, he retweets this from Peter Sweden, reminder that the mainstream media ignored this. People of Spain had massive protests against socialism for over a whole month. Okay, well, I'm not going to go down the road of arguing socialism versus not socialism, but Chris Martinson says ignored because it doesn't fit the narrative. I actually love the fact that he took it where he took it. The MSM is completely silent on nearly all truly important matters: energy/oil, infinite exponential growth on a finite planet, excess deaths. The list goes on. Sure. But I love that he got in there with that. Cuz he's definitely outside the mainstream narrative, and he seems to have sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. He seems to have a following among like alternative news folks, but a lot of the alternative news folks that are like, "There's that climate change, fake hockey stick graphs." I'm just kidding. I'm not really trying to poke at you, sir, person that was in the chats and Rockfin the other day. But you were kind of saying stuff like that. But like most of the alternative news channels are into that. But Chris Martinson is a man of science and understands that there are things that are faked and things that are not being faked, and he has a discernment to see the difference. This is why I really like Chris Martinson, because that a lot of his vision, takes, if you will, or align, a lot with mine. So, Susumi, because I dig his I dig what he has to say. So he's pointing out infinite growth on a finite planet is probably not good. Probably not good, because infinite growth, in almost any case on the planet Earth, usually spells some kind of disaster. There is no such thing as, the laws of nature don't necessarily encourage infinite or out of control exponential growth. There's a balance. Nature is a balance, right? The way that nature works is there's an in, there's an out, there's a left, there's a right, there's an up, there's a down, there's a balance. And yes, Andre, the laws of physics are harsh, and nature will tell you when you're out of balance. Nature will let you know. And kind of why the show is called The Outside Wants In is because we, as humans, we love to be. Give me 1 second, guys. I just remembered something. I just remembered I needed to pour myself some more coffee. Ha! Ha! Look at that. Whole pot. Right here. The inside wants out. No, actually, so the outside, we spend as humans all of our time trying to, stay from the outside, stay indoors. Now, as civilization progresses, we find ourselves just moving from air conditioned box to air conditioned box. And I hear the term like, you smell like the outside, or I just see people just afraid of everything nature, right? Everything, everything bugs, everything animals, everything outdoors. They're just like, no, I don't like it. I don't want it. Don't let it touch me. And that's a serious disconnect. That I think is going to be, is going to kind of take people by surprise eventually, right? The outside is going to force its way in. Outside meaning like the laws of nature or physics, the way the world works. If we're going to live in harmony with nature, we need to get out in the nature. We need to be in nature. We need to learn from nature. Learn what the lessons that nature has to tell us, right? And I think that we would do better, being able to withstand, some of the forces of nature that come our way, right? Some heat, some cold, some uncomfortableness, some bugs, some animals, some things, right? Some sun, some snow, some rain. We just need to get. I think we need to stop. Going with the flow of civilization, which is going towards not being in nature, not being connected to nature, not touching nature, not feeling nature, not knowing our role in nature, not knowing how we affect nature, not knowing how nature affects us, not knowing how we play a part, right? And this is one of the, this is why people can still do broadcasts right now saying like, no, they hate humans are the best. Humans are great. Humans aren't bad. When they talk about population, you're the carbon they want to reduce. blah blah blah. It's why they say stuff like that. It's like you're not even in touch with the how nature works, right? You're not in touch with how species of all kinds come up against the laws of nature, right? And somehow we defy the laws of nature all the time. We certainly are clever at doing so. We're really good at defying the laws of nature, but nature has a way. And unfortunately, what we don't understand is that nature is way bigger than us, right? If you don't follow, here's another thing. If you don't follow, the laws of nature, you will get spanked. You will absolutely get spanked. And we're very smart, we're very clever, we know how to outsmart and outwit nature, the laws of nature, but I mean, you can only do that for so long. You can only do that for so long, and there's plenty of evidence to back this up. Do you want me to go into? I mean, I don't know. I feel like I do this every day. I describe why every day. I just think a certain amount of I think it's good to humble ourselves, not in the eyes of God, which is but in the ways of nature. Humble ourselves in the ways of like how we're tipping the scales, not in our favor, right? We think that we're. And I love technology. Don't get me wrong, man. I just love technology. Technology is fun. Technology is amazing. Technology is like, wow. Like technology is like, oh my God, the things that we can do. But we can also be aware of how technology is hurting the planet, and how technology defiles and fouls, the air we breathe and the water we drink. Right? The ecosystems we depend on for our survival are being eroded and eradicated for our pleasure. The Lorax. Great story. I can't say it enough. Great fable. One of the great fables of our time. But very, it's all you really need to know is that if you cut down all the trees to sell everybody the things, ain't gonna be nothing left, and there won't be any of the people that you sold all the things to left. How's that for anti-human? Sounds like the system we live in is pretty anti-human. Sounds like the way that we organize ourselves on the planet right now, pretty anti-human. Really, at the end of the story, we haven't gotten to the end of the story yet. At the end of the story, it's super anti-human. So, like, do you want to I know, yeah, the bad people are all up in that mix, trying to say, do what we tell you, and we'll save you from the end of the story. And that's wrong. Of course, they're wrong. They want control. They want power. They want to sell you electric cars and efficient stoves all the way to the end. And they want to pump oil and tell you to reduce your carbon all the way to the end. But they don't, the end of the story is pretty anti-human. And there's really nobody to, you could point to the bad people or the, either, Cecil Rhodes or the Rockefellers. Or you can point to all the bad people. They did this. No, it's pretty much collective. It's pretty much like a collective, like, okie doke, we'll go this way. Certainly they had a hand in it, but if everybody's like, all right, sounds good to me, this way looks good, everybody's like, all right, sure. I don't know. No, personal responsibility rarely sells, Tim Bob. And that's probably why we are where we are. Anyways, how's that for a rant? Can we classify that as a rant? Can we call that a rant? Anyways, Chris Martenson sees all of that. What I just said, he sees that whole thing. It's an interesting story about. This is wild. Global warming without global mean precipitation increase. When GHG and aerosol forcings are combined, the global mean precipitation increase due to GHG warming has until recently been completely masked by aerosol drying. Wow. Meaning we ain't seen nothing yet. I think that's the upshot of that, right? Can we say that's the Jesus. Sorry guys. Didn't mean to do that. Global climate models simulate a robust increase in global mean precipitation of about 1.5 to 2% per Kelvin surface warming in response to greenhouse gas forcing. Here it is shown that the sensitivity to aerosol cooling is robust as well, albeit roughly twice as large. Its larger sensitivity is consistent with the energy budget arguments at the same time. Still considerably lower than the 6.5 to 7% Kelvin decrease, Kelvin -1 decrease of the water vapor concentration with cooling from anthropogenic aerosol. Because the water vapor radiative feedback lowers the hydrological sensitivity to anthropogenic forcings. Wow. When GHG and aerosol forcings are combined, the climate models with realistic 20th century warming indicate the global mean precipitation increase due to GHG warming has, until recently, been completely masked by aerosol drying. Wow. So we think we're seeing a lot of flooding, or maybe this is partly why they're saying. A lot of people think or posit that the reason why it's warming so quickly this year is, and over the last few years, is because of the removal of a lot of the sulfur-laden, like bunker fuel, shipping fuel, that has decreased the aerosol masking, and that is allowing for hotter temperatures. And if this particular study is correct, well, then that would explain also the increase in just this radical kind of increase in like flood, storms, flooding, etc. Right, major extreme weather events. That would kind of indicate that maybe those are working in hand in hand. I don't know. But also could have kind of scary implications for the future as well, right? Poppy sent me a whole bunch of good things. COP28 ecologist Thomas Crowther, a former chief scientific advisor for the UN Trillion Trees campaign, was doing something he would never have expected a few years ago, begging to stop planting so many trees. Mass plantations are not the environmental solution they're purported to be, Crowther argued. Or Crowther. The potential of newly created forests to draw down carbon is often overstated. They can be harmful to biodiversity. Above all, they are really damaging when used, as they often are, as avoidance offsets, as an excuse to avoid cutting emissions. Yeah. I think we know this too, right? We've known this for a while. The planting the trees is not necessarily the way. A taste of an approaching climate dystopia and loss of river dolphins. Um, Retweeting Go Green. Heartbreaking. Once new roads are built in one of the most unspoiled and remote regions of the Amazon, in the gigantic state of Amazonas near Lake Tefe, tens of thousands of people and loggers will invade the forest and burn it down to create land for ag. That's what happens. That is what happens. You build the infrastructure, and with the infrastructure comes all the things. I mean, this is happening pretty much everywhere, all the time, right? I used to travel the United States for work. I don't travel as much as I used to. But in my travels, this is what I see. We're building a new gas station. We're building a new road. We're expanding these roads. We're expanding the lanes. We're expanding. Even within urban, centers, even within Los Angeles or the city where I live. We're building more apartment buildings, more high rises, more condos, more homes, we're expanding. We are expanding. we're nobody's stopping us. Nobody's saying, hold on now. Maybe don't do that. Everywhere I go, there's more roads being built, more stores being built, more things being built, more stuff being built. Oh, is it December 17th? Is that the day when it all goes down, Scott Andrews? All right. Everybody put that on your calendar. I know that there's a lot of solar activity. Yeah, I've been seeing that. I've been seeing that. You're not holding don't hold your breath. For sure. For sure, don't hold your breath. Chile is adapting to a fiery new world, contracting supertanker aircraft to light fires expected this summer. Well, yeah, that seems like something to do. And again, to my friends that are like, it's not real, they're just hyping this. I mean, it costs money. It costs money to get these super tankers lined up and get them all, for fires that aren't happening. Why would you do that? I mean, it's kind of like insurance industry is reporting, higher than normal death rate over the last few years. Well, why would they do, they could be faking that, but why would they be faking that? The insurance industry is also not insuring or raising the rates significantly on places that are susceptible to climate change induced impacts, right? Florida, the Carolinas on the coast. There are places that are being impacted, right now by sea level rise. There's no, and then you have weirdos running around saying, I'm a climate scientist, and they're really overstating this. I'm like, are they? The insurance companies are saying we're not going to insure you anymore, or we're, California insurance companies are pulling out of some areas of California because of increased fire danger and other things. Why would they do that? That harms their business, right? That's not good for business. Or they're saying if we insure you, that's also not good for business. Why would they do that if it was fake? I mean, come on. So, you can't acknowledge, the insurance industry over here and ignore it over here. You can't do that. That's not like, it doesn't make any sense. But that's how that's how ideological silos go, right? Well, if it fits my narrative, then that's fine. If it doesn't fit my narrative, that's not fine. What's up, Joseph? How you doing?
Hello, Kevin. How are you?
I'm good.
I just was wondering if you'd let me read something out of part of my outline. And it differs, it's commenting on the aerosol masking thing.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. And this is kind of for William too, because I think we started this conversation like quite a while ago. So picture the Earth. This is something I wrote this to an engineer, this outline to an electrical engineer who I grew up with. He said, you got to make it so a sixth grader can understand it and short. So
Yes.
here goes. Picture the Earth, add a hand crank above the atmosphere at both poles. For every calorie of energy added to the surface, which is about 11 miles from the bottom of the Marianas Trench to the top of Mount Everest, there is the effect of a pressure increase. For every volume of biocomplexity loss, incoming solar plus geothermal energy is unbound other than being used in anthropogenic systems, ergo scalar heat, which is what we're all experiencing, mostly in ocean stratification and expansion. Add industry. The effect is increasing pressure against the direction of incoming radiation and against Earth gravity, effects of thermal mass expansion, inertial state change with respect to angular acceleration with respect to Earth's rotation. So for everything that turns with the Earth, you're pushing against that when you add thermal mass of any kind, one way or another, or a combination of ways, without getting too technical and involved. The big hand cranks should be in equilibrium with both upwelling thermal mass and incoming thermal mass, which means the sun and geothermal and all the life inside of it and everything it does. The hand that twists the cranks, like squeezing the atmosphere and Earth between thumb and forefinger, is spin and rotation of Earth, sort of a spiral within a spiral. And there are some videos that show this motion, like Physics Girl has a great video on that. Ice under the cranks causes thermal mass to condense more efficiently, like an air conditioner, putting pressure and relieving pressure, right? So the stuff inside the air conditioner absorbs heat and then expels heat. Same idea. Mirrors, if you used mirrors, would reduce this efficiency. It would create a cold zone below the mirrors, but you'd have push back against the natural propensity of condensation over the ice with atmosphere. Aerosols increase the efficiency within the max min of the bound overall system. So like an air conditioner and its coolant, aerosols act very fast to condense thermal mass into the oceans over these ice zones. The more the ice reduces, the less efficient the aerosols are, so you see less cooling. Make sense?
Yep. Yep.
Does that help?
Sure. Absolutely. Thanks for reading it.
No, thanks for letting me read it.
Yeah. Yeah. So the masking thing is interesting.
It's very complex, right?
Sure.
But the more the rub is, the more the ice reduces, the less arguing there will be on which way the heat's going.
Right.
I can't hide from that.
No. No. And I think we've I mean, we're going we're going down the road as expected, I think, right?
Yeah.
If you were just looking at a trend line a decade or two ago, and you were like, where is the trend line going to go? Well, it goes about to where we are.
Yes, it does.
And then if you go from where we are to the future and you go, where is the trend line going to go? Well, we're going to, pretty much we're going to go where the trend line says we're going to go. I mean, that's just, I mean, super basic, and there's nothing really there's no indication that there are factors involved that are going to reverse or change the trend line.
No, and
not
the
right
idea,
not right now, right? Not yet. And I know that there are a lot of people out there with, you know, all kinds of different ways to make the graphs say what they want to say or whatever, but you know, the trend line is it is getting warmer. The trend line is the ice is going down. That's the trend line.
Right.
You know, there's kind of and for the, you know, for the people that say like, oh, these are just made up they make up the graphs and stuff. Well, where is your proof that they make up the graphs? You know, I mean, yeah, sure. Like look, I want, if they're making up the graphs, I want that to be, you know, I would love for that to be true. I would love for all of this to just be some, you know,
someone's bad dream,
or they did it. They made it all up. They got together, and they made up all the stuff. The Club of Rome. They just, you know, they just put some things on a page, and said, "Here's what's happening," and and everybody just believed them. No, that's not. It's not really what's happening. So, and as evidenced by things that you can see with your own eyeballs in nature, right? Like you can. There are things that you know. There's a lack of bugs. There's you know, trees dying. There are just, you know, trees in my city being burnt from the top down. It's all, you know, kinds of signals if you want to pay attention that things are out of whack, right?
Well, every report you read that deals with specifics, and it more or less is coming to a coalescence, if that's a word. It's coalescing on the bigger truth that no, you can't get rid of this. Adding aerosols, adding sulfur, not going to cure the problem. You're just kicking the can down the road. Regardless if you believe or that you're actually cooling something or not, it still overall is getting hotter. And adding anything makes it much hotter later on anyway.
Yeah.
Over time.
Sure. Well, it's hence the word mask, right? It's just gonna put it off for a little while.
And it doesn't really even put it off. It just puts it someplace else.
Right.
Putting it off even is kind of a mask.
Yeah.
And that's the angst that causes me to call and say things. But
yeah.
Well, I know you get it.
Yeah. My very layman, maybe not based on anything, feeling is that, like, if we just made like a real effort, you know, and this is, you know, I know, okay, y'all can, take the hopium out of your pipe, and you know, take the plank from in front of your eyes, take the whiskey out of your coffee cup. Like, I know people are going to tell me that there's no way we're going to do this, but I'm just saying, if we could make, you know, like, how much did we reduce emissions in 2020?
Nothing.
Well, I mean, but I'm saying there was a significant reduction in emissions in 2020 due to COVID. There was like six, I'm saying it was like, you know, comparatively to in 2020, the emissions went down like, I don't know what it officially was, 6%. I think as high as 7%, they said. And they were like, and this was like the most significant reduction in emissions in a long time. And also the fact that humans were kind of not out and about doing all the things, you know, there was kind of an immediate, and a lot of people were saying, okay, the aerosol masking is going to go and we're going to get really hot because of this, et cetera, et cetera. But like, just in the same way, and, you know, and we could argue whether, okay, we've been smoking and we're 78 years old and we've been smoking our whole lives and we've got severe emphysema and lung failure, and if we stop smoking now, it's really not going to make a difference, right?
Right.
But, you know, there is, you know, I don't know, you know, living organisms respond very positively to positive action, right? And there's just, I don't know. And maybe this is just me, just drunk on hopium. Like, I feel like if we could actually take a stand, I mean, we're not going to lower emissions probably ever until the end, right? But they're saying, we got to go to net zero by blah bitty boo, and I'm like, man, if we even did like 15 or 20%, the Earth would probably respond like incredibly well to that, right? Or if we took human activity down just a few notches, right? Like really tried.
Yeah.
Like the Earth would go, hey, here I come. I'm coming back. Flora and fauna. So,
Well, you'll regrow ice faster seasonally for sure, but you're still going to lose it, and you're not going to stop the ocean from rising.
You're not going to stop the ocean from rising, and you're not going to stop all the energy that the ocean has from burping up, and
that's what's got to be processed out. So as soon as we stop cranking the hand cranks against the ocean, then it does its natural thing better and better, and we get more livable zones, I think, from everything you just said. If we all lived in very simple lives and nurtured some complexity, that would help. But the results for the average person are not going to be very favorable.
Well, in every scenario, that's true. Do nothing, do something, do a little bit. I just think that, whatever, and maybe we won't realize any of that until there is a collapse, until there is a significant reduction in activity of civilization. And then we have, and then the Earth is like, well, all right. All right, let's get to work. I don't know.
I think we all have to live like third world to actually even conceive visually or viscerally, rather, all of that. In other words, if we live very simple lives, many more of us would realize the truth of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's about would take as much mental programming or deprogramming as has taken us to get to this. There's a lot of mental programming in getting us to where we are now,
which is very huge amount of mental climate science.
Yeah.
Yes.
A massive amount of this is how we do it. This is how we live. This is what you do. You get up and you go to do all the things, right? And we make the stuff and we build the things, and it's just like it's on a very like cellular level almost, the programming that humans have right now, and that this is what makes people go, that's anti-human. No way. You're the carbon they want to. This is crazy. Like you just cannot get your mind around the fact that maybe humans, in groups, like Carlin said, humans, when they get together in groups, they really tend to mess things up. He's right. He's right. And there's a whole lot of people that have played that Carlin clip and go, yep. But you're like, but if you say, well, human beings as a whole are destroying the planet, hell no. What you talking about? No, fucking no. Like, okay, listen, man. Listen, you can't, like, you gotta there's just a basic, like, hey, we're not doing so great here, on a holistic level. Like, we're just not doing so great. And so what you can't do any better until you take stock of your position. You're not going to change the course until you go, hey, yeah, we're,
I think we share an unspoken religion. If you grow up in an industrialized or even an agriculturalized system, you share a belief that is really, really hard to shake. Mm-hmm. And that is that your tooled life is okay, number one, and that you make the earth better as long as, and you fill in the blanks depending on where and when you grew up.
Yeah. Well, and it's also kind of like a civilizational level. It's like when people, everybody is trying their best, right? Let's go super personal. We're going to go micro right now. Like on a personal level, pretty much all humans think that they're doing their best, right?
Yes.
And they all think that they're good people.
Right.
And this is a universal thought in most humans, that they, you know, even when they're when they're really not very good people, right? Or even when they do really destructive things, either to themselves or to other people, right? They're like, you know, I'm doing okay. You need that a kind of like positive reinforcement in a way, to just keep going every day, right? Oh, I'm a good person. I do good things. I live my life well, and I try to do the best I can. And yeah, you know, the best you can thing is, I'm sure, true for a lot of people, right? You do the best you can, even if you're really sucking. Like, you're doing your best. You're trying your best. And on a civilizational level, that's how we think too. Like, you just apply that to all of humanity. We think we're doing our best, even when we're really sucking. It's like, you're not really doing, you know, but if you really want to just pick it apart, and it's a little hard to, because it's hard to do that on a personal level, like really pick your life apart and go like, I'm really, man, I am not doing this well. Right? That's hard to do, because it makes it hard to get out of bed in the morning and keep going.
For sure.
And so, but if you want to change, if you want like profound change in your life, you have to do that. You have to do that. You have to really like dig into some things that are going to hurt. And like, that is true for people. That's true for humanity, right? We're not really doing very well. And I think everybody could agree, like, yeah, it's not going so well, right? But we all think we're doing our best and we're really trying. And man, look at the things we can achieve. But we're really not doing well overall, and I think everybody can understand that. And until we really dig in and are able to like pick it apart, we're not going to make any changes. We're just going to continue, you know, like, we're just going to continue, you know, doing horrible things, and you know, the eulogy is going to be like, well, they were pretty cool for a while. Like, they did their best. They did their best. They did their best. You know, we destroyed the planet, but we did our best. Did you do your best? You know, are you okay? Fine, sure. If that's how you want to call it. I don't know. That's it. You know. But we could do it. You can do better. People can change themselves. People can dig into the parts that hurt. People, can dig into the really scary things and try and yeah, sometimes it's really hard, sometimes, it's weird to me when I look at some people. It's just like growth and I don't know, positive forward momentum is just super easy for some people, right? Some people are just like, I'm like, wow. You just think it and you do it, Yeah. And other people I'm one of those people. It's just like, I'm literally crawling like on the floor to try and make, I'm like, well, I'm trying to get from here to the living room, right, in life, and I'm just crawling on the floor, like as hard as, and I'm using every ounce of my energy to try to get to the living room. Like, it's just, that's me. And I don't, I would like to just stand up and walk in the living room. Because it's not, right.
Can I make a guess that you're a person who reevaluates what the living room is defined as each stage that you're doing that in?
Yeah,
that's what makes it hard.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's also like, do I really want to go in the living room? Look at all the people in the living room; they're all assholes.
Well, that's what I mean, right? That's a redefinition.
Shit like that. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm the same way. That's how I ended up being, where I am, which is not a good place as far as civilization and society is concerned. But
right.
Before that happened, my living room was exactly where I was headed.
Yeah.
And it became not that, and
there's
a price.
I think it's far better to just get to the living room and go like, this is cool. I don't want to be here, and go somewhere else, right? You don't, it's frustrating to me. I'm just like, well, I just want to get to the living room. I know it's, maybe it's great, maybe it's not, but I'm just trying to get there. Jesus Christ. Like, it's not that, it shouldn't be that hard, but whatever. Anyways, I don't know. I don't know about all these analogies or if they're helping me or anybody else, but
Maybe.
who knows?
But I'm eager to hear your article that you're reading, so I'm going to let you go, okay?
Yeah, actually, well, it's 10 o'clock and all's well, so I think I'm.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
I can't. What was the article I was reading? Can't even remember. Oh, super tanker arrived. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, I don't know. I wasn't necessarily. Doesn't need to be read. I don't think they're just Chile's. They're going to get some super tankers because there's more forest fires, and they feel like they're going to need to fight more forest fires. So there you go.
Isn't that kind of like the aerosol masking thing right there? More tankers because there's more forest fires, and yet tankers are going to they're adding tremendously
Oh, well,
to the probability of there being forest fires.
Exactly. Well, here's another great piece here. U.S. Airlines prepare to fly 2.8 million passengers a day over the long Christmas holiday. United says it is building off the success of Thanksgiving travel. Is confident the operation is well prepared for the holiday season. And I was just saying, it's all up, and away. Right?
We're not even cutting down on our air travel, right?
There's just none. I mean, and it's funny to me when I hear, and I'm really not trying to pick on like alternative news channels because that's pretty much all I listen to, and I find them mostly, informative and entertaining. But I mean, the one kind of narrative thing that goes on is like they're whatever, they're going to block you from having a personal vehicle and doing all the things you want to do and living free. And I'm like, dude, nobody's blocking shit. Ain't nobody blocking shit ever. Right? Like, you are fucking high. I get that they want to like control everything you do on your phone, and I get they want to track you, and I get they want to like tax you on every tax you for looking at your phone and tax you for doing anything. I understand that they just want to set up all the control mechanisms. I get that, but ain't nobody blocking anybody from doing anything. Sorry. Like, that's just not happening. Because this system is built on doing the things and doing more things and having more things and selling more things and making more things and doing the things. They don't want to stop doing the things. And so when I would hear people say this, I'm just like, I can't. I mean, I'm almost like, oh my God, like, Jesus Christ. Just the look at reality. Just like, are you alive? Like, they're not trying to stop you. They want you to, do all the things and pay top dollar.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I think that narrative is a subconscious. Maybe it's not even subconscious. Certainly, maybe not from some places, but it's a pushback against what everyone must somehow be aware of on some level. That overtly it's collapsing. You've got to blame someone or something.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, no, and it's, you blame somebody or something, or say like, or any pushback on like what you have achieved. It's, we've achieved so much, right? And people have a certain, it's called a standard of living. Right. If you want to break it down, people have a certain expectation of like things that they can access and things that they are it's like an extension of like, a right, human rights, right? You have the right to, do all the things and get everything you want in the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness and all that. And all that is great. But like, you also have the right to, die of starvation if you walk into the desert without a water can, right? Because
it's not the expectation.
It's called, right? So if you do stupid shit, you get stupid shit. So it's like, you have the right to life, liberty, and happiness, but to what's the limit? There is a limit to that. You don't have the right to take somebody else's life, liberty, or happiness in order to gain yours, do you? No.
You and I are
You
going
don't.
to share a slap in the face along those lines in the form of coffee. I've just watched a video reporting on coffee is expected to not, consumption and demand is expected to, by not just a shortfall, by a large amount, to be over the amount of production's capabilities because of climate change.
We just talked about that yesterday on the show.
Oh, did you?
It was a big topic of discussion yesterday. Was coffee?
I've been hearing that in a couple places.
Yeah.
So it's a fear, and I'm drinking an espresso right now, and it's definitely what makes life okay sometimes.
For sure, it's about probably the last addiction I have in life.
Exactly.
One of the last. I don't know. No, I feel like it's kind of the last addiction. I mean, I love food. I love eating, and I eat okay, but I don't eat. I'm not like super strict. I eat probably some things that people might, but I'm a vegetarian. But I mean, I love to eat, so I eat all the bread, I eat all the cheese, I eat all the whatever. I love to eat.
Food is good.
So yeah, food is delicious. I try to manage my addiction, my love of food, by doing some some fasting, right? I do the like I don't eat until a certain time of day because otherwise I'd just be eating all day. I'd just be eating all day. So I try to like control myself.
That's civilization's gift, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, and particularly north or further south from the equator, at these latitudes that are colder, that's really a cost overall.
Mm-hmm.
That's our crime. I mean, we demand this lifestyle, and we are nowhere near the places in the earth that even remotely echo that kind of energy naturally.
Right. No, right. Exactly. Well, hey man, good talking to you. I gotta wrap it up.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Take it easy, Joseph.
You too.
All right, y'all. Yeah, beware the coffee Armageddon. It's coming to a store near you, and that truly fills me with shivers and fear. Anyways, but I love me some. Yeah, you know that. I don't even have to tell you. Sweet. Thanks for joining, guys. You know the deal. I bring you the show every day for free. Ain't no paywalls anywhere or anything. You can just watch it and avail yourself of the quality content that we have here. And so this show relies on your generosity in order to keep on going. Oh, I did get somebody bought me some coffees yesterday, so let me not forget. And it just said someone, so I don't know if this is a buy me a coffee thing, but sometimes they hide the person's name. I don't know if it's intentional or unintentional, but someone, I don't know who you are, bought me a couple coffees, 3 coffees, and said good stuff. Anyways, if you want to buy me some coffees, you can do so here, buymeacoffee.com/blackbearnews. You can Cash App me at Red Llama Music. You can Venmo me at Kevin Sandblum. You can PayPal me at paypal.me/Kevin Sandblum. You can Zelle me at kevinsandblum@protonmail.com. There are also Patreon supporters. I appreciate you. You can support me there. And where else? Oh, and there's a P.O. box if you want to do the slow and easy way. All right. Peace out, y'all. Thanks. Oh, I'm not going to be here this weekend. No shows next 2 days. I'll see you on Monday. Okay? All right. Thanks, guys. Peace.